So here's a suggestion that I have for you to kind of illustrate this. That same, if you don't have Legos, you take spaghetti sticks, wooden sticks, a foot of tape, 2 feet of string, and a marshmallow. And this is the Marshmallow Challenge. There's a TED Talk video. You might have done this in the classroom. It's really cool. It's a TED Talk video of a guy that travels to kindergartners all the way. See Chris? Thank you. Travels throughout the country to different elementary schools all the way to CEOs of large companies, gives them this challenge. The objective is to get the marshmallow stand on top of a tower, and you want to measure out to be the tallest tower standing after 15 minutes. When we talked about a neat thing to have your kids do, like Scratch Junior, this is the example I was telling that you can give your kids in the classroom, figure out what 6 to 8 of them are really engaged in having fun and enjoying this activity. Maybe those, you don't tell them you're doing this, but you're secretly jotting names down and like, these might be the 6 to 8 ideal kids on my team. Here's what happens, and here's why it's a really good analogy. I used to have the teachers do this when I had all day with you, and I would illustrate, your kids will come up with a solution because you can do this, your kids can do this, your kids are creative, just let them do their thing. It's kind of like we wish our principals or DOE would just let us teach sometimes. It's like, give me a room of kids, I can teach them. Stop putting handcuffs or obstacles in front of me. Anyway, this is a simple, clean design, and this we'll say is about 25 inches. This is an intricate, crazy design, used a lot of materials, was about 40 inches tall, but what happens to it is when you let go of the marshmallow, because you can't see the top of it, is it falls down to something like this, and is only about 5 inches off the ground. This is a unique design that uses the string to help support it, and this was about 30 inches. So what I'm getting at here is that sometimes simple is better. The time constraint they had in this is the same time constraint you're going to have with practice. And the more times they get to do this activity, the better they're going to be. Just like if you do this this year and the same kids come back next year, they're going to be better at it, you're going to be better at it. If you go to 2 competitions versus 1 competition, you're going to learn from your experiences. So I have a whole kind of analogy, parallelism about this. The time constraint is the same thing as the time constraint you have in building. Limited parts and supplies, it's the same thing. Some of you are just going to have the parts you go home with today. You're going to go to some competitions, and some teams have 6 robots, but they're only competing with 1. And you're like, oh my gosh, they have a lot. And you're like, so? You got what you got, and that's what you're going to go with, and you'll still kick some butt. 15 minutes is the build season. I already mentioned that, but the kids, and the neat thing in this activity is they're brainstorming, they're problem solving, they're talking together. They're maybe prototyping other little models of what works and what doesn't. Do we go square? Do we go a little teepee? Do we do pyramids? Teamwork and collaboration. This is the key to success that I found after teaching so many years. If you want a winning team, they need to learn how to work together. That's the secret ingredient. They need to work together. That is the most important thing. Josh Chang is great. He's smart, but if he can't communicate his ideas with other kids and get them to buy in on this idea, he is not a valuable member, and that's something I would always talk to him about. Is you need to communicate if you want to be effective and you want to be successful in this world. So that was my always pep talk to Josh, and he turned out all right. Learn from experience, like I already said. You can learn from multiple competitions or years. Your first year, I'm not going to sugarcoat it, I already said it, your first year is going to be tough because you don't know what the heck you're doing. I'm trying to illustrate and highlight the things to expect, but until you do, it's like your first year teaching. You don't know what to expect. Even your second, third, or fourth, you don't know what the heck's going to happen this next upcoming year. But we get through it, and the next year we're stronger because of it. Learn from observations at your first event or YouTube. First event you go to, you look at all these other teams and what they do. Oh, I never thought about buying 2 chargers and having double batteries so that I can rotate batteries. That's a neat idea. I never thought about making a conveyor belt or a hopper that could suck all these rings in. I never thought about these things, and you see other people doing it, and it inspires your kids to come up with new ideas. Tallest marshmallow is the trophy. That's not important to me. So that you don't want to judge whatever kid at the tallest tower should be on the team. It's the ones that can work together and are enjoying and engaged in it.